Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you so much for joining me yet again. If this is your first time here, please don't hesitate to subscribe and become a part of our opinionated family. And if you're here for a second or third time, welcome back. Today is a little bit different. Usually I do TV reviews, but tonight I'm going to be doing a review on the Salt and Pepper movie that came on Lifetime tonight. And child, let me tell you something. I was nostalgic through the entire thing. It was such a cute movie. Now those wigs, they got those wigs wrong. And a little bit, I feel like the way they casted the characters, I don't want to call them characters because they're actual people in real life, but the way that they did the casting, I felt like a few of the characters were off. I'm just gonna say that. So as I'm watching this movie, there is so much that I did not know about them. And you know what I realized? That I was like 5 years old talking about push it. What the child? I didn't even know what I was pushing. I was just listening. Let me tell you something. When I first heard Salt and Pepper on the radio, I was like, I'm gonna be a rapper. Child, I can't rap worth a lick. I can't even rap a Christmas present, okay? But when I tell you they made me want to be a rapper, and then I'm in the eighth grade talking about, hey, yeah, I want to shoot, baby. Girl, what is shoot? And then when I hear it explained tonight on the movie, I'm like, not you saying you wanted to shoot in the eighth grade. Girl, you better shoot them books, okay? But anyway, so the movie opened up where they first met each other, and that was in Queensboro Community College in 1986, okay? And that's when Pepper walked into like the little common area, and Salt was there pretending to study because we all know she wasn't getting nobody's degree at the time. And she was trying to get her to help her play a game of spades. So we see them interact with each other briefly, and she's like telling her that she works at Sears, and she gives her like a little pamphlet, and she's like, come through, I get $1 for every application that somebody turns in. So Pepper was like looking for a job, so she was like, okay, cool. Then she starts to work at the Sears call center. Now what I thought was so cool about this scene, they were really all work. I don't know if this, I'm hoping it's true, because Salt and Pepper both were intricate parts of making this come to life. So I'm sure they put nothing but true stuff in the movie. But the fact that Kid and Play, Martin, and Salt and Pepper all worked at the Sears call center, my mouth was completely wide open. Like, do you see the legendary legacy that was the Sears call center? Okay, Sears had all of the top tier performers of the 80s and the 90s, and they still holding. Okay, the only people we don't hear from a lot is Kid and Play, but everybody that was named there was a huge part of my childhood growing up. I love me some Martin. I can recite every single episode that was ever created, okay, including some stand up. Kid and Play, House Party. Everybody knows House Party number one was the best, okay? They started doing 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They could have kept those, but House Party 1, that will always be a staple in the black community. I'm just saying. And the fact that they all work together, I thought that was so cool. And they're showing, a little bit about how how they came to even bring this group together. And so Herbie was Cheryl's boyfriend, which is Salt. That was her boyfriend, and they decided he decided, honey, because he was a little bit controlling. He decided that he wanted to put a group together. He had a mastermind. I have to give him that, because she didn't see the vision, but he did. And so he was trying to put this group together, and at first it was going to be like a boyfriend girlfriend type thing, but it didn't quite mesh well. It didn't quite work out because he ain't had no talent. So he decided that he wanted it to be two girls. And when she thought of someone, she thought of Pepper. So she was like, okay, I'm going to ask her to do it. So, honey, Pepper was acting like she was in the school talent show, honey. She wasn't no rapper, and she knew it. But that just shows you what you can do with raw talent. Like, if somebody has a little something, you can zhuzh it up. I mean, look at Kim Zolciak when Candy took that tardy for the party and made her a whole pop star real quick. I mean, it just shows that if you have the right person and the right personality and you put the right people behind them, they can be anything. So they show us that, and it's taking us through their lives, and now we're in 80, like I think like 89 or something. Child, I don't know. I think we're in 89 at the time. And that's when they really started popping off, and they started doing all kinds of world tours, and just being the Salt and Pepper that we all know. But it was a little bit of chaos between Herbie and the girls. And what I didn't like about this is, and that I learned, is that, okay, Salt was with Herbie. Okay, they were a couple. And so, of course, she's going to get top billing because they're a couple. But she was so sweet to the fact that when they got their first record deal, he was trying to X Pepper out of it completely. He was like, we don't need her no more. It could just be me and you now. This was the plan all along. And Salt was like, no, there's no Salt and Pepper without pepper. Okay? That's like trying to season your food and you get a little salt and then you just stop. No, everybody knows you got to put the salt and then you put the pepper. Come on now. So he was like, no, if you want to give her half your check, then you can do that. But as far as me and mine, I'm going to keep all my money in my pocket. Salt being so sweet. She was like, okay, well, I'm not going to leave her out. She shows up at Pepper's house and she's like, Pepper girl, we got a record deal. And I was so happy looking at this because I felt like I was just reliving my childhood. Y'all know Lifetime they don't do movies right. Okay, I don't know what it is, but they can't get a movie right to save their lives, honey. The Aaliyah movie was a mess, and this was partially a mess, but I loved it so because I feel like I lived through it. Like each time they played a song, I was like, okay, I was in the 5th grade when that came out. Okay, I had a little crush on this boy when that first came out. And then, when Express Yourself came out, that's when I felt like I wanted to be a rapper. It was giving me everything that I needed to have, okay? So after they got their record deal, then they started doing more and more shows, and this was like so crazy to me. So they show up at a show. This is before they actually blow up. They show up there because they're now getting gigs and everything. And then the guy at the door was like, they were like, we're Salt and Pepper or whatever. And the guy at the door was like, no, Salt and Pepper's already here. I must look like Boo Boo the Fool. And they looking at him like, I think we would know who we are. And he was looking at them like, you can say whatever you want, but you're already inside performing. And it was a whole set of imposters. Do you know how popping you gotta be to have an imposter go on stage and perform as you? That's like me trying to be Megan Thee Stallion. To my big old freak, big boogie, big old treat. Girl, if you don't get out of here, you are not Megan. I thought that was crazy. I'm like, you just do not know what goes on behind the scenes. And then, Herbie and Salt having their relationship, it just let me know that everybody who was managing these groups back in the day, everybody was together. Because when I watch these biopics, most times the people who are in a relationship have a working relationship first. So I thought that was a really little cool tidbit because when I first, heard about Salt's husband, the first time I heard any word of him, it was that dude Gavin, and that's only because I had watched a VH1 reality show that they had back in the day, like in the early 2000s. Y'all remember that show? But that's when I realized that I realized who her husband was. So seeing this movie, I was like, oh, okay, so there was somebody before the husband. As we're going on, then we start to see a little bit more of their life. And I think they should have put something saying, parental discretion advised, or just something letting people know that if you're struggling with a eating disorder or any disorder of the sort, then please get help. Because the whole time that Salt was throwing up throughout this movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant. And it was throwing me off because I saw her looking in the mirror and she was like showing her stomach. And I'm like, oh my goodness, she pregnant with another kid and they're about to go on tour. But little did I know that she actually was suffering from bulimia. And it was all to keep her image and to keep herself slim. And I was just like, wow, you just never know what people are going through. And Peppa, she was going through her own thing because this is around the time where she was dating Tretch, and she already had her first baby from a dude that didn't want to claim it, So, and I always thought that Egypt and Tyran's father, I thought Tretch was both of their fathers. But I guess, well, now I don't guess, but seeing the movie, I realized that they have two different fathers. So anyway, so this is around the time that Peppa is having this tumultuous relationship with Tretch. But what I wish they would have shown more of is when Salt left the group. Remember, all of a sudden she just showed up with Kurt Franklin in that Stomp remix? And I was like, oh, okay. And it was because she had totally left secular music and she decided she wanted to be like in the gospel rap realm, or is that just me that remembers that? Because I remember seeing her in that video, and I'm just like, what Peppa at? And then I realized that they were actually done with each other. But I did watch an interview with them, and she was saying that they were basically just taking a 10-year break. They had took a break because she needed to be a mom. She needed to get herself together, quite frankly. What I did, another thing that I loved about the movie is that both of their sides of their families, they were very supportive in them pursuing their dreams. Nothing was holding them back. And I also realized that both of them had kids around the same time, and the industry did not make them feel like they were not going to succeed. Because you know how it is now, when Cardi B got pregnant, they started saying, oh, she's done. Why would she get pregnant right now? Why would you get pregnant at the height of your career? Honey, Salt and Pepa got pregnant and put them big shirts on with those big 8-ball jackets and those dashiki hats and that blonde bleached hair, and went right on out on stage, honey, and nobody never knew the difference. See, that's how it should be. You should be able to still keep doing your thing, pregnant or not. That's just how I feel about it. So they're going through the movie, and then we see that they discover, okay, let me go back. So as they're blowing up, then they discover finally that their song is playing on the radio. And that was like a big moment for them. And that was a big moment for me, because as I'm looking at the movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, they actually made it. Even though I know how the movie turns out because they're like mega superstars. But just seeing them and their excitement, that was just everything for me. I'm like a #1 Salt and Pepa fan. That's like on my bucket list to be able to see one of their concerts. I missed Michael Jackson. He was also on my bucket list, and I didn't get to see him because when he was going to do that 50 state tour or whatever it is he was going to do, I was going to try to go see his concert, and then so happened his untimely demise came right before that, and I was like, dang, man, I never got to see Michael in concert, and I always regretted that. But anyway, back to the movie. So, they finally start to hear themselves on the radio. Herbie was super shady, honey. Everything that Salt did was superior to Pepa, and I didn't like that. It was like he always had something to say. Well, Salt did it. Why can't you do it? And after a while, Pepa was like, look, you don't have to stop comparing me to her. We are not the same person. They had totally different personalities. Salt is more reserved, and Pepa is more in your face. And even now, if you look at the two of them, Pepa is still keeping her youth. She's still, showing up on the scene. And Salt is more of the reserved, I'm at home. Now this is my life. I'm an adult woman in my 50s. And so, of course I am still Salt, but I'm also Cheryl. And I would like for you guys to get to know who that is. So as they're going through the whole entire movie, of course, Herbie is being so shady, trying to X them out until Pepa talks to this guy, and he was asking them, what are y'all getting? And she's like, we're getting 6 points. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that's standard, 6 points each. And she's like, no, I'm getting 3, she's getting 3, and he's getting 6. But see, what Pepa didn't realize is that you were supposed to be getting 0 because they were going to split it half and half, but because of Salt's love for you, you're getting 3. And when she finally realized this, she went to Salt and she was like, look, you know what? We got to take our power back because, quite frankly, we're letting him get away with a little bit too much. And that's when they took things into their own hands and started making music and started writing music and started owning things instead of letting somebody puppeteer them. And another thing that happened in this movie that was so cliche to me, but I know that this has happened in, it's kind of like industry standard when you're dating a dude in the industry. Just like on the TLC movie, Salt found out that Herbie was cheating on her. And when that girl had the audacity to bring that baby to the house and she was rocking that baby, she's like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. And this was this man's whole baby. But what I respected about her is that she let him go. She said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with you. If it doesn't have anything to do with Salt and Pepa, don't call me about it. And she was done. And I definitely respected her decision and respected her for that. The movie continues to go on. We see all their hit records being played. We see them touring around the world. We see them have children. We see the different things that happen in their relationships. And some things I felt were left out. And I don't like the fact that they left Spinderella out of this. She was an intricate part of Salt and Pepper. In the 90s, it was Salt, Pepper, and Spinderella. Not just Salt and Pepper. And I understand it's your story. You know, y'all became a group and she was just the DJ. But whatever it is that y'all are going through this catty stuff, y'all should have still included her. Because she is a part of you guys' history. So I felt like she should have been included in this movie and she wasn't. But that's neither here nor there, child. The movie was still good to me. And I feel like they did leave some stuff out. It was a little bit cookie cutter. I feel like it could have been a little more raw. We should have maybe turned it over to VH1. I feel like we should have done it on VH1 because VH1 would have kind of got to the real. It was 3 hours of fluff. Just me hearing the same songs over and over. And then, you know, all of a sudden we're in the 2000s where now nobody's really listening to a Salt and a Pepper. So they wanted to go on a tour and the man was offering them basically a megabus ticket and a bag of Skittles. Okay, he was not offering them what you would give a top billing artist like Salt and Pepper. I mean, he just wasn't doing it. But, you know, they had to take what they could get because she was pregnant. And, of course, they wanted to continue on. So they ended up taking it. And then once they took their break, they decided that it just wasn't worth it to argue anymore. They came back together, started touring yet again, started doing things, and I think they even had a residency in Vegas. That wasn't on a movie, but if I'm not mistaken, I think they did have a residency in Vegas because it was shown on the that Growing Up Hip Hop that Peppa's daughter is on, but she quit, but that she was on. And you know, another thing that was really cool about the movie is that the imposters that were playing them on the movie were actually their daughters. So Salt's daughter was actually Salt, and Peppa's daughter Egypt played her when they had the scene where the imposters came in and tried to be them when they showed up for their gig. So I thought that that was really cool, and I know it had to be a surreal moment for them to actually see their daughters and it come full circle, like, you guys actually look like us at this age. You know, you're the same height, same weight, same complexion, and now we get to insert you as us, as the fake us in our movie. And I thought that that was so cool. All in all, it was a really cool movie, and if you guys want to check it out, you should. Lifetime will be playing it in reruns, and also you can catch it on their app, and it'll be streaming there. I'm actually really excited for next weekend because the Wendy Williams movie comes out. And honey, I'm ready to see all of that. Because Wendy Williams, whether you love her or hate her, Wendy is everything. And that's who has inspired me. I remember when I was younger, I said I wanted to have a talk show. I know I'm not going to have a talk show, but this YouTube channel is a close second. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. I just wanted to bring you something a little lighter. And if you guys want to check out the Salt and Pepper movie, it is a good watch. I mean, it's just something to watch when there's nothing else on. And the fact that these women are legends made it even better. So you guys check it out at your convenience. Thank you all for listening. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.